p.m. There's an air of excitement surrounding the young, new-look Nittany Lions, who host another young and talented Big Ten team today, the number 24 Golden Gophers of Minnesota. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to State College alongside my partner, former Illini shooting guard Sean Harrington. I'm Clay Matvick. And Sean, both of these teams struggled last year in the Big Ten, but they've each got a new look and so far promising starts.
Yeah, both teams are off to very good starts, and the main reason of that is a lot of newcomers to both of these teams and a lot of freshmen. And because of those freshmen, you're getting a lot of energy, really good production, and they've really boosted both of these teams off to good starts this year.
And two of the youngest teams in the country, but so far better than last year. See that the 45th youngest team in the nation, Minnesota. Penn State, very young. 17th youngest in the country. But Patrick Chambers, the head coach at Penn State, still beaming inside from the win last Saturday over Michigan State in his hometown of Philadelphia at the Palestra. This is their first game since that win. First over the Spartans since 2011, and it really has people talking about Penn State this year in the Big Ten. And across the way, Richard Pitino in his fourth season at Minnesota, the youngest head coach in the Power 5, had a long offseason after suffering his first losing season as a Division I coach, but his team has played well throughout the non-conference portion of the season and so far early in Big Ten play, but they're coming off a humbling loss at Michigan State on Wednesday. It's going to be interesting to see how they play today.
Yeah, how do you bounce back? And that's the big thing. When you look, we just talked about the youth of both of these teams. Well, how do you bounce back after you have a difficult loss? We saw it earlier in the season. Minnesota lost to Michigan State at home on a tough game. They bounced back and won at Purdue. They just lost to Michigan State again. See if they can go and do another road victory here at Penn State.
Minnesota in road maroon and gold. Home grays for Penn State. Minnesota controls the opening tip. Terry Weimer, Lamont Simpson, John Gaffney are officiating crew. Amir Coffey gets it down to Lynch, who's fouled over the back. And Reggie Lynch will go to the foul line to start this contest.
That's a terrific play to start the game. Well executed, lots of movement. Ball screens, ball went side to side, penetration, and then get it inside to Lynch where he's fouled.
6'10 junior out of Edina, Minnesota. Gets Minnesota on the board. He's a junior, but a transfer from Illinois State, so also more new blood for Richard Pitino.
Yeah, newcomer, and he has really changed the dynamic of this team. What he does, blocking shots, rebounding, that physical presence inside. Foul trouble has been an issue for Reggie Lynch. He needs to stay on the floor to help these Gophers out.
Now Penn State in the front court for the first time. No seniors on this team. It's Lamar Stevens who got to the rack, couldn't finish in close. He's had a nice rookie year so far. They work it inside. Jordan Murphy for Minnesota. They get their first field goal.
And early attacking inside, really making it a point to get to the rim. Lynch, first possession. Murphy on the second. Good start for the Gophers.
First game at the Bryce Jordan Center here in 2017 for Penn State. 2-2 in the Big Ten. Shot clock under 10. This is Stevens again in the paint. Thought about passing away, but took the shot and missed it long.
He's got two very good looks. You'll settle for that if you're Penn State.
Quick pass. Coffey got it inside. Lynch bobbled and lost it out of bounds. There's Amir Coffey, the reigning Big Ten freshman of the week. He had 17 against Northwestern, 19 against Ohio State last week. But Michigan State, Sean, did a good job holding him to 4.
Yeah, he's been pretty consistent for the most part and then struggled on the road. Michigan State, a very difficult place to play. Very physical team in East Lansing. Really outside of McBrayer, everybody struggled in that game for Minnesota on that offensive end.
Here's Stevens again. He's taking the shots early. Missed on the backside, though. Watkins feeding a knifing Reeves for the dunk.
There's, you see more of that youth movement. Good offensive rebound by Watkins to keep the possession alive. And Josh Reeves does a terrific job moving without the basketball. That time he cuts down the lane and finishes with the dunk.
Reeves had a slow start this year because of a knee injury. He's starting to round into form, and that's what he can do almost better than anything, get into passing lanes. He almost caused a turnover. Coffey floats it in with the left hand.
It's just a smoothness to his game. Coffey able to get into the lane. Nice soft touch around the rim.
Backside rebound, Mike Watkins. And the stick back to make it 6-4. Watkins has really beefed up the interior for the Lions.
And you can see Watkins really controlling the lane. Offensive rebounds, 2 possessions in a row. He's a difference maker.
Here's Murphy. Threw it away. And that's the second turnover for Minnesota. There's Reeves again. He can really frustrate offenses.
Yeah, some guys just have a knack for that. Get their hands on those balls in the passing lane.
Stevens 0 for 4 shooting early.
I think he got hit that time. Bench wanted the foul. A little bit of contact on that drive.
Minnesota leading by 2, 3 minutes into this one. There's Nate Mason, and he's fouled.
Lots of activity early on right here. You're going to watch Watkins clearing out space, getting in, good timing, gets the rebound, and then it's Reeves slashing to the basket. And this is the next possession. Again, weak side rebound. Lynch going over the help that time. Watkins cleaning up on the glass. Penn State likes to have that interior guy cleaning up the glass and then finishing as well.
Penn State not a great shooting team. One thing they can do, though, is get to the basket. So Nate Mason is at the line. He hit the first of 2. Point guard has been the leading scorer the last couple of seasons for Minnesota. At the first, misses the second, and Watkins sails in for the rebound for Penn State, down 3. And that's going to be an offensive foul. Goes against Mike Watkins. An illegal screen. His first.
Mike Watkins, his first team third.
Just trying to set a screen, get those feet set. It's an aggressive foul. You can look at those. It's a turnover. Trying to free up a teammate.
And now it's going to go the other way after Minnesota commits an offensive foul. It's going to go against Jordan Murphy.
Fouls on number 3, Jordan Murphy, his first, team first.
So John Gaffney, official calling the first one. That was Terry Weimer, our lead official, calling that last foul. That's the 3rd turnover for Minnesota as Keem Springs, the grad transfer from Milwaukee, who's been great off Patino's bench, comes in for the first time for Minnesota.
Gives him that lift from the outside. Terrific three-point shooter is Keem Springs. 11 different times he's had multiple threes in the game this season.
There's Shep Garner, catch and shoot. The leading scorer for Penn State misses from 3. He hasn't had to carry the load quite as much this year.
No.
And there's a travel on Murphy. Second turnover that you can attribute to Murphy.
Tried to move too fast that time on the penetration. Mentioned Gardner off to a little bit of a slow start here in the Big Ten, not shooting the ball extremely well. Percentages are down. That shows the depth now of Penn State. Used to have the leading scorer Penn State struggle. You weren't going to win games. They're 2-2 and nearly could have won at Michigan as well.
Off the Reeves miss, Minnesota in free flight. And Amir Coffey, he has 4 early ones.
Got to have better transition defense, balance. Shot goes up, somebody's got to be the safety. That time no one back for Penn State. Easy run out for Coffey.
Coffey averages a dozen. There's Reeves attacking. And again, Watkins, Johnny on the spot on the backside, sticks it in. Back to a 3-point difference.
And Penn State's not making the layups right now, but they're attacking, which is drawing the defense, making Lynch come over, and that's freed up Watkins for the 3rd time this game to clean up on the backside.
Coffey penetrates. Mason thought about the long 3. Reeves almost forced another turnover. Here's Springs with 9 on the shot clock. And it rolls off, and Watkins cleans it up. Watkins impressive early on. Averages 8 rebounds per game. Also second in blocks in the Big Ten behind Reggie Lynch. Spring's got a hand on that one. Here comes Minnesota. Mason stops and pops. Can't finish. And it's going to go back to Penn State. And we got a timeout on the floor. 14:57 to go here in the first half. Minnesota leading by 3 on the road.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Mazda. Driving matters. And Degree Deodorant. It won't let you down.
Himself early.
He's been terrific on the offensive boards. That one he goes and gets himself and finds the cutting Reeves here. Good penetration by Penn State. Makes Lynch come over and help. 2 possessions in a row. And Watkins able to clean up on the backside. A couple defensive rebounds in there as well. He's off to a hot start on the glass.
4 points, 5 rebounds in just 4 minutes from Mike Watkins, the redshirt freshman from Philadelphia.
Number 10, Tony Carr. Number 11, Lamar Stevens.
Couple him with the 2 true freshmen from Philly, Carr and Stevens. And the new energy, the new excitement around here. It's like Penn State basketball can be mostly attributed to those 3 guys.
There's a couple good recruiting classes here in a row now.
Yeah, that's one thing Patrick Chambers has really done well is recruiting, specifically in Pennsylvania and especially Philadelphia. There's Peyton Banks, one of the veterans of Pat Chambers. Gets it to Stevens. Shot clock goes to 5. This is Terrence Samuel, the UConn transfer, feeding Stevens. Again missed, got his own rebound, and another empty possession for Stevens.
Stevens is getting great looks on the inside. He just can't finish right now.
Meanwhile, Nate Mason knocks down his first field goal. 11-6 Minnesota.
Mason's been Mr. Consistency for this team. Double figures in all but 1 game.
And it's going to be a foul against Penn State.
Fouls on number 10, Tony Carr.
Tony Carr's first. Well, this afternoon, it's an ACC-SEC doubleheader for you on ESPN. Tobacco Road. Number 9, Florida State. Number 11, North Carolina 2. Then we go to Rupp. Bruce Pearl's Auburn Tigers taking on Kentucky, ranked number 6 in the country. Both games also streaming live on the ESPN app. Minnesota with the lead. They get it inside, and there is a contribution from Eric Curry, the talented freshman from Memphis. And Penn State calls a timeout with 13:49 to go here in the half. Eric Curry, one of the 3 freshmen that Pitino brought in.
A very young group. Talk about freshmen, sophomores, and that's sophomore to freshman right there. Nate Mason controlling the offensive end, getting into the lane, dropping it down. Eric Curry with the finish.
Big Ten news and notes. 3 teams in the top 25 this week, including Minnesota. Minnesota, of course, coming off the loss to Michigan State, which bounced back. See, they're out to a 4-1 start in the Big Ten. Ohio State winless in conference play. It's a little bit of a surprise that the Buckeyes have struggled as much as they have this early.
Yeah, it's a team that won 11 games in the Big Ten last year. And obviously losing Bates Diop for the season just last week does not help matters. But the Buckeyes really struggling in conference play.
Minnesota with full court pressure here. Leading by 7. And Shep Garner brings it ahead for Penn State. This is a tough stretch beginning today for Penn State. Host Indiana Wednesday, then at Purdue and Wisconsin. So we're going to find out if this is an NIT team or an NCAA tournament team here in the next several days for Penn State. 13 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Patrick Chambers marking instructions from the sideline.
Right now they need contributions from someone other than Watkins, and he's not on the floor.
Got 2.5 minutes without a point. Carr lobs it up, and Stevens flushes it down. Well, maybe that'll break Stevens out.
And there's the high school connection. Those 2 winning a couple state titles together, bringing their act here to Penn State. You can see good chemistry between those 2.
First field goal for Stevens. And a travel on the other end for Minnesota as Bakari Kanate causes Minnesota's 5th giveaway.
And this is what Penn State has been doing. They've been attacking the lane, getting inside. Even though they're not finishing, Watkins has been getting some putbacks, and this is a great feed. Carr getting in there. Stevens with the big finish. Sometimes you need a little play like that to loosen you up. Stevens had good looks. Now he sees one go through the rim.
You're right about that chemistry, though. They played together at Roman Catholic High School in Philadelphia. 2 of the 4 guys on this roster from that high school. On nearly a turnover there as Moore threw it into the corner. It was empty. Penn State tracks it down. There's Tony Carr again. Lost his dribble and then shuffled his feet.
Yep, just picked up that pivot foot, looking for that cross-court pass. Penn State just got to clean it up a little lazy and sloppy with the ball. We've seen it the last few possessions, some turnovers.
The thing about Tony Carr is we've seen poise beyond his years. He doesn't turn it over a lot for a freshman point guard. Nice pass. Curry misses off the window. Konate flushes it back down for Minnesota and one.
This is good ball movement, rotation. You see Moore come over. That means there's nobody on the weak side. Konate finishes. Authority takes the contact from behind. That's what he's in there to do. Rebound, easy baskets, and be a defensive stopper on the other end.
3rd year in the program for the 6'11" center from Mali. He has 3 points now. 2nd foul on Tony Carr. Minnesota's Jordan Murphy also picked up 2 early ones. We haven't seen him since picking up that second person. Biggest lead for Minnesota. Banks missed it short. Coffey with the outlet. Springs tracks it down. Akeem Springs lobs it up off the window pane and down. 2 more for Minnesota. The lead is double figures.
And another run out. Easy bucket in transition. After long shots, it's going to be long rebounds. Penn State needs better balance. Good job by Minnesota pushing in transition.
They work it inside. Mike Watkins lost control of it on the baseline and then turned it over. They lob it up on the other end. McBrair's pass was errant, and Minnesota's going to keep it as we step aside with 11:38 before half.
The Minnesota Golden Gophers are off and running. Good defense on one end, easy baskets on the other. Akeem Springs with the finish.
Suffered an 18-point loss at Michigan State on Wednesday, where they shot just 33%. This is the kind of start Richard Pitino was hoping for today. The Gophers 7 of 10 from the field.
Yeah, you love the response from his team. You're coming off of a tough loss at Michigan State, and this is the start you need on the road. We saw it earlier in the season. Tough loss at home to Michigan State.
Right.
They came out and played great in the opening half at Purdue and got a huge win at Mackey. So you like to see this team bounce back after a tough loss.
Gophers have it in their hands again. 11.5 to play, first half. Dupree McBrair, second leading scorer for Minnesota, gets it to Springs. Springs, jump shot. And Watkins with another rebound. He's got 6 now.
Much better defensive possession for Penn State. Kept the dribbler in front of him the entire possession.
Watkins travels. 6th turnover for Penn State. Well, Sunday night, we'll have the 15th annual Martin Luther King Jr. game between Jimmy Butler and the Bulls and the Memphis Grizzlies at the FedEx Forum. The Grizz will debut their MLK 50 Pride uniforms. It's the 50th anniversary of Dr. King's assassination. 9 Eastern on ESPN. Curry, double team, skip pass. And Springs travels. Well, turnovers plague both teams early on here, but they're hurting Penn State more.
Minnesota right now, if you don't turn it over, you're making a bucket. That's how it's been. Turnovers have been the only way they haven't scored.
Michael Hurt's going to check in for Minnesota. In-state product from Rochester John Marshall High School in the southern part of the state. Here's Reeves directing traffic. Shep Garner lost a shoot. Looking for help. Did he get the timeout? Yes, he did. Now, Shep Garner blew a tire and was able to get the officials' attention and get the timeout. That ever happened to you?
I didn't move quick enough to blow out a shoe. You don't blow out shoes and you're standing in the corner waiting to shoot a jump shot.
Well, Shep Garner, one of the few veterans, really, on this Penn State team, went over 1,000 career points in the win at the Palestra last week. And speaking of that game, the win over Michigan State, you know, some suggest that that was a program changer for Patrick Chambers. Do you agree?
Well, it's a huge win, absolutely. And you go to a place like the Palestra, and obviously everybody gets excited to play there. It's a huge venue. It's a huge moment. It's Tom Izzo, Michigan State, the team that's really dominated the last 15 years and going to all those Final Fours. And then Patrick Chambers wants to recruit Philadelphia. You have 6 guys on the roster from that area, so you go back there and get a win that's in front of the recruits that you want to get on this roster in the future. So a huge game for Penn State.
Another miss for Stevens. He's 1 of 8 to start. Shot fake for Hurt. McBrayer. Bounce pass inside for Lynch. Through the double team. Got it up to the rim and in.
Lynch gives them that inside scoring presence that they need to balance out this offense.
Oh, that bangs home for Peyton Banks. He's a 3-point threat. Gets that 2. Kind of an ugly look, but it banked in.
Absolutely. You'll take it right now if you're Penn State because nothing's coming easy on the offensive end.
And ends a 7-0 run for Minnesota. Here's Lynch again, spinning. Strong backside. Clear by Reeves. And there's Stevens again with another miss. Boy, it has been a laborious first half for Stevens. He'll find his way to the foul line this time.
Fouls on number 24, Aaron Curry is first.
First on Curry. You're talking about the Philadelphia recruits on this roster. He has specifically done well at Roman Catholic High School.
2 shots.
And he wants to be in Philadelphia. Obviously, that's where they want to get their kids. And you look at that. A couple state titles coming from Roman Catholic. And when you bring winning players from high school into your program, they bring that winning tradition with them and a belief that they're going to win. That's where you can see just some of the energy in this program. Fans were excited about that class last year.
No doubt.
When they signed it, and we're talking about it, and finally get them on campus, start seeing what they can do on the floor. And a good start to the season for that young group.
Stevens is going to head to the bench after sinking the free throws. He was part of that recruiting class last year that was top 15. Best recruiting class in program history. Future's bright for Penn State basketball, without a doubt.
Starting to get a couple of those recruiting classes in a row. Watkins, obviously a freshman this year, sat out last year. Reeves was a part of that class too.
McBrayer with the left hand, no. Curry got the miss. And Hurt traveled. Boy, we've seen a lot of that for both teams today. Just not setting the feet.
Yeah, moving too quick. You see the opening. You want to get to the basket. Try to beat your defender. Got to put the ball down the deck before you get those feet moving.
See the number of turnovers, 13 combined. Here's Banks. Banks deep 3. Rattles the iron. Banks scored 24 here against the Gophers last year. McBrayer takes it coast to coast. His first field goal.
Peyton Banks can knock down threes, but that one, without moving the basketball deep, you can get that at any time. Leads to another run out for Minnesota. Better shot selection on this end of the floor.
First basket for McBrayer. He's been in double figures in all but 5 games this year. Collision inside that sends Reeves spinning to the floor.
Fouls on number 22,
He's going to go against Reggie Lynch. Number 1 on him. And the 4th on Minnesota. Check that 5th team foul for the Gophers.
2 shots.
Josh Reeves has had a hard time staying healthy in his young career here at Penn State. You and I saw a lot of Penn State last year, and he missed 6 games in the middle of the year with mono. Kind of fouled up about a month this season. Nazir Bostic, another Philly native, comes in as Banks goes out. Back to a single-digit game. Just over 8 minutes to go here in the first half. Minnesota trying to end a 3-game losing streak to Penn State. Haven't won here in State College in 3 years. Mason knocks it down. He's had a nice first half.
He's really comfortable there, coming off some movement. Ball screen going to his right, mid-range pull-up. A lot of confidence in that jump shot.
He's another guy that doesn't have to carry nearly the load that he did last year. We've said that about Garner, same with Mason. And there's a block. Curry got his hand on it. Mason now the other way. Samuel the rebound. Bostic, nice pass to Samuel. Good patience, and he found him.
Terrific read. He was going up. Thought he was going to have a jump shot. He saw Samuel on the corner of his eye getting to the basket. Good find from Bostic.
Mason penetrates, and a little too strong on his part. Another offensive foul.
So the Nittany Lions trying to climb their way back. Bostic finds Samuel. Good find.
24-15. Just over 7 minutes to go before halftime. Christian Hackenberg in attendance. I'm sure he wishes he weren't on this NFL playoff weekend. Pretty good quarterback here at State College. And Anthony Zettel, another former Penn State football player, was in the house here pregame trying to liven everybody up. Was Hackenberg the quarterback with the Jets. Good start for Minnesota. A lot of easy baskets for the Gophers. The shooting has been cold and poor for Penn State. Just 29%. Shep Garner, as the shot clock starts to wind down. Samuel now, he better hurry up. With 2 to shoot, forces up a shot. That was a bad possession for the Lions.
And more good defense. Minnesota not allowing Penn State anywhere into the lane. You mentioned it. Ball never goes inside the three-point arc the entire possession. Some difficult shots for Penn State. That's why they've had the low percentage.
Well, Minnesota leading by 9. Their biggest lead in this half has been by 12. It is a revamped offense for Richard Pitino, but I think you touched on it. You know, the strength of this team is the defense, especially inside right now. Mason had it rejected by Reeves. It's going to stay with the Gophers with just 5 to shoot.
Talked a lot about the turnaround for Minnesota. It's the new players, the youth, but the defense, you mentioned it, they are terrific defensive statistics, and it's going to keep you in ball games and win ball games.
Mason, contested shot, drew the front iron just ahead of the shot clock buzzer. Here comes Penn State trying to chip away. Reeves going around Canate, drew the contact from the 6'11 center. Well, this afternoon, it's an ACC, SEC doubleheader. First, number 9 Florida State. That's a big Seminoles team against number 11 North Carolina on the Tar Heels home floor. And Auburn and Kentucky from Rupp. Wildcats number 6 in the country. Malik Monk having a good year. 4 Eastern on ESPN. Canate with his first foul sends Reeves to the stripe. In and out for Josh, a 75% foul shooter. As Patrick Chambers is going to send Stevens back into the game. Peyton Banks also coming in. It's a pretty good foul shooting team, Penn State, at 76% as a unit.
Everybody talks about foul shooting at the end of games. Got to make them throughout the game, especially here. Penn State trying to get a little run together. Got to pick up those points at the line.
We can see Stevens just really struggling here in the first half. 1 of 9. Dupree McBrayer pulls up, and it rolls around and off. Rebound to Banks. Lead is 8 for Minnesota. Samuel had it rejected by Konate. Reeves tracks it down for the Nittany Lions. His scoop shot doesn't go, and Minnesota breaks up. Amir Coffey stripped. He's going to stay with the Gophers. And Reeves picks up his second personal.
In transition. That's what Pat Chambers wanted to see. The ball was off of Coffey.
And the replay actually support that. 16 fouls apiece, so both teams at the line the rest of the half. Just over 5 to go here in the first period. Curry, turnaround right hand doesn't go. As Minnesota's cooled down from the field here the last several trips.
Yeah, you feel like this is Penn State's opportunity to get back into it. They just can't buy a bucket. That's another quick three. We've seen that a couple times now. Quick threes, deep threes. You can get those anytime in possession.
Might be the guy you want taking a shot, but not that one. Mason. 1 and done for Minnesota again.
Both teams have gone cold here the last couple minutes.
Banks drops it down for Watkins. A couple of big boys doing battle. And it rolls off. Banks able to get a new shot clock for Penn State, and Chambers wants these guys to reset. Get it in the hands of their veteran. Junior from Chester, PA, Shep Garner. There's Stevens. Battling with Curry. Curry cuts him off. Now Stevens. Got it out to Banks with 4 to shoot. Stevens, 1 extra pass. Samuel has to throw it up. That's a shot clock violation. Too many extra passes there, and Pat Chambers disgusted.
The defense has been a lot better this year. Contested shots here in the first half made it difficult for Penn State to get into a rhythm, even around the basket.
Another Gopher turnover. Again, an opportunity for Penn State. They've trailed by as many as a dozen here in the first half. Carr comes back in. Stevens is going to inbound it and head up the floor. He has had a tough first half. 1 of 9 shooting. The rest of the team not much better, 5 of 17. Carr tried to get it to Watkins, who was cutting to the basket. Turnover. Springs. And he hits the 3. 1 fluid motion for Akeem Springs.
A deflection on one end for Springs. It leads to the steal, and then he runs out right to the arc. Mason finds him.
Third D1 program for Springs. Also played at Northern Illinois. Transferred here from Milwaukee for Minnesota. Garner got it up through that double team. Draws the contact, and he'll head to the line. Second on Nate Mason. 7th team foul on Minnesota. Shep Garner was honored prior to the game today, Sean. 1,000 career points, the 33rd player in Penn State history to reach that milestone.
Yeah, he has had a very impressive career so far at Penn State. Really fill it up when he gets hot.
Number 4, Nazir Boston comes into the game for Penn State.
Hasn't had to do as much scoring this year. A little more balanced attack from Penn State. But they'd like to see his numbers come up percentage-wise. In the Big Ten, he struggled a little bit shooting the basketball.
Those are his first 2 points of the day. He averages 13, which leads the team. They're going to need him to pick it up.
Three-quarter court pressure from Penn State just to slow down Minnesota a little bit. Down to 15 on the clock now when they start running their offense.
McBrayer to Lynch. Moving in on Watkins. Created some space and got the roll. That's a nice play by Reggie Lynch.
He's able to feel the defense on that left shoulder, so he spun back over the right. Good turnaround jumper.
Reggie Lynch now at 6 for Minnesota. Lead back to 11. Here's Stevens. Try to hand it off to Watkins. It's cut off nicely by Lynch. It's a big body. This defense has been terrific this year for the Gophers. 4 to shoot. Stevens lost it out of bounds. There's that Minnesota D rising to the occasion again.
Yeah, they've had very active hands here in the first half. A lot of steals, deflections, altering shots inside. Looked like twice in that possession Penn State was going to have an angle to the basket. At the last second, a Golden Gopher hand gets in there, knocks it away, just to disrupt the timing. Good defensive possession for Minnesota.
McBrayer for 3. Yes. First 3 for Dupree McBrayer. He's got 5.
He can make shots from the outside. Definitely capable. Only a third of his shots come from there. He pulled up, knocked that one down in rhythm. Usually more of a mid-range slasher.
Biggest lead for Minnesota. Garner falling away, gets it to go. Maybe a sign that he's going to start to heat up for Penn State.
And Penn State needs a stop and a score, get some momentum here to the half. Minnesota wants to finish off this last minute. They played a good first half.
They're going to talk it over here. They call a timeout. 1 minute and 9 seconds to go before Matt Schick and Dino Gaudio take it away at halftime. The transition play for Minnesota has been sharp.
Yeah, they're turning defense into offense, forcing long shots, which means long rebounds. Not balanced back there, but it almost looks like an instant replay. Another long shot, run out. When you go out on the road, you got to get easy baskets. And that's what Minnesota's been able to do. Defense leading to offense, attacking in transition. When you can get those easy ones, it takes pressure off your team. It's a tough team to guard out in the open floor, too. They can space you out. They attack the rim, now bury a 3. Springs knocks it down.
11-2, Minnesota favored in points off turnovers so far. A lot of those coming in transition. Minnesota has it here, just over a minute to go before half. Trying to go to 4-2 in the Big Ten. There's Springs, another 3 this time, comes up empty, and Watkins plucks the rebound. And Garner throws it away. Just too many of those for Penn State, especially when the shooting's been as cold as it's been.
And just guys not on the same page that time. Gardner going to the basket. Stevens slashing to the rim. Gardner thought he was going to stay outside, threw it outside. Leads to a turnover.
Penn State in double-figure turnovers.
Good job by Banks denying Coffee the ball.
Springs found a lane. Went to the other side of the rim, missed. Lynch got it back. 10 on the shot clock. McBrayer. Out for Curry. He's got to throw up a shot. And Penn State take the last shot of the half if they desire. Here's Garner.
They pick and pop with Stevens.
Garner found Watkins for the two-hand slam. And the first half will come to an end. But Minnesota has a double-figure lead at the break.
They did a terrific job of defensive end. Nothing easy for Penn State in that first half. Stifling defense from the Gophers.
Stevens 1 of 9, just 4 points in that first half for Pat Chambers as they'll try to regroup at the break. Now Matt Schick and Dino Gaudio in the studio.
Thank you, Clay.
Ready to get going with their second half here at the Bryce Jordan Center. In State College, it's a 10-point lead for the Golden Gophers, number 24 in the country this week. He's Sean Harrington. I'm Clay Matvick. And Sean, Minnesota, pretty impressive balance in that first half.
Yeah, really good job sharing the basketball. Everybody getting involved, and that's what you need. You go on the road after a tough game, everybody get involved in the scoring. 8 different players scored in that first half.
And they shot 46% in the first half. Biggest lead was 14 points at one point. Meanwhile, Penn State not getting their star players production that they've been used to.
Yeah, Minnesota did a good job taking Penn State out of their rhythm in the first half. Tony Carr, a major reason why. Only 7 minutes, he picked up 2 quick fouls. He did not play the majority of that second half of the first half there. And because of that, some turnovers from Penn State. Guys looked out of rhythm. He's back in there, only 2 fouls, so he's not in foul trouble now. He picks up an early one. This will be a different Penn State offense with him running the show.
Penn State starts with the ball down 10. Trying to get back over 500 in the Big Ten. They're at 2-2 in the league. And that swirls out. Moore with the stick back. He can't get it to go. And it just continues here in the second half, at least early on.
And you got to make the easy ones there. Julian Moore, wide open backside. Take that up stronger finish. Get your team on the board early.
Nice backdoor cut. McBrayer, he goes to the other side of the rim, and it's strong. Out of bounds, it will stay with Minnesota. The Golden Gophers, with a win today, match their best Big Ten start in 8 years. What adjustments did Patrick Chambers make at halftime?
Will take care of the basketball, number one. Number two, sometimes they're over-penetrating inside. You saw Carr pull up on that jump shot. They're getting too deep into that back line of Minnesota's defense where it's either block shots or altered shots. Don't over-penetrate. Just get into the lane, jump stop, see what you have around you.
After teams exchange turnovers, there's a block on this end by Reggie Lynch. He leads the Big Ten in blocks. 52 coming into the game. That's his first. Nephew of former Gopher great Kevin Lynch.
Got that guy now on the backside that can be a shot blocker, so you can get out and pressure on the perimeter knowing you have that help behind you.
Full start for both. Murphy drops it inside. Lynch left it short. And Reeves will clear for Penn State. 8 field goals made, 11 turnovers. It kind of tells you how it's gone for Patrick Chambers' bunch. The foul on Minnesota. Dupree McBrayer picks up his first for Minnesota here in the half. Patrick Chambers, he's really worked hard to turn this Penn State program around. Starting to show signs, Sean, that it is doing that.
Yeah, and it's the last 2 recruiting class have got people excited around here.
Missed everything for Garner.
It takes a while to build a program, and sometimes it'll take 3 or 4 recruiting classes to come through before you start seeing the benefits of it. That's why a game like going back to Philly, playing at the Palestra, in front of a lot of recruits that you want to get to this program playing well, is good for the program.
Murphy clobbered inside. That's going to be on Stevens. Second on Lamar, who had a horrible first half, 1 of 9 shooting. If he can get it going, then Penn State can claw back into this.
And he got some good looks early in the first half and just couldn't convert them. And then it was Minnesota's D. They made sure they stayed in front of him to make him shoot over the top. He could knock it off.
And he's going to come out. Second free throw for Jordan Murphy. This is not his strong suit. 55% on the year. He gets the back end. He's got 3 in the game. He's had 5 double-doubles this season. But again, you know, you got one guy that doesn't necessarily have a great game, Sean, for Minnesota. They've got other guys that step up at various times.
Absolutely. Murphy had to carry a lot of the load last year. It's only a freshman. This year now,
there's another
focus in on rebounding. There's Lynch just controlling the inside on the backside.
Murphy missed the open look. No blocks in the first half. for Lynch. 2 quick ones here in the second half. Reeves got around him, and Moore flushes it down off the miss.
And that's what you need to see out of Julian Moore. First possession of the second half. He went up soft with it, didn't finish. That time he flushes it through. That's how you attack the rim.
First basket for Penn State of the half, and now off the turnover, they've got numbers. Reeves on the 3-on-2. Tried to kick it into the corner, and McBrayer got in the way. McBrayer ahead to Murphy, and he'll slam it down. So Minnesota takes a slap in the face, but they get right back.
Yeah, looks like Penn State's going to score on a run out, 3-on-2. And a turnover again, leading to easy baskets for Minnesota. They're taking advantage of turnovers. Penn State not taking advantage of their run-out opportunities.
Wow, now more as this is turning into a dunk contest. It's one way to help the shooting. And another Gopher turnover. Banks for 3. You bet. And Penn State is within 6.
And they desperately needed that three-point. No three-point makes in the first half. They're going to need to make some threes here. Get this crowd on their feet.
Minnesota with a 14-point lead at one point. Penn State has come back. 1 for 6, but then they started dunking the ball.
Yeah, they got aggressive, and it was Julian Moore, and he's right here in the middle of your screen in transition. You see penetration from Penn State. Moore gets good position on the inside, and he flushes it through. It's being more aggressive, going to the basket in a pick-and-roll situation. Goes and dunks on somebody. That's 2 high-percentage shots, and then that energy now rubs off on teammates. Transition. Peyton Banks from 3, knocks it down. A little bit of a run for the Nittany Lions.
Penn State had been 0 for 8 from 3. That Banks triple, their first of the game. And Minnesota lead is just 6.
And you can see you score a few baskets, start to play defense with a little bit more energy.
McBrayer, extra pass to Lynch, and it's blocked from behind by Reeves. Reeves taking Lynch's game right back at him. Blocking the leading shot blocker in the league, and we got another timeout. 15:58 to go here in the second half. Minnesota 35, Penn State 29 here in State College.
Samuel Adams, Pursue Better, and the new Volkswagen Golf All-Track, soon to be everywhere.
Former Nittany Lion, now Detroit Lion. Anthony Zettel banging the drum. That was prior to the game. Another former Penn State football great, Christian Hackenberg. He's also been on the sideline for this one today as Penn State has clawed back after being down 14 at one point. And they've got it back after the empty Minnesota possession. 35-29. Here's Banks, another 3 try. That one doesn't go. And Coffey at a strip, but it'll stay with the Gophers. Well, a win for Penn State gets them to 3-2, Sean. They'll match their best league start in 6 years. Both of these programs showing signs that they're on the upswing after not being picked very high in the preseason. It's a big day today for both.
Absolutely. It's momentum in the conference, and talked about the youth of both of these teams, so players on both sides going to be around for several years. That's why everybody's excited about these two programs.
Lynch with 4 to shoot, works his way in closer, lost it at his feet, got it ahead of the horn, but it rolls off. There's good defense by Penn State that time.
They're starting to get a little more scrappy on that defensive end, getting on loose basketballs, getting to the floor last couple possessions. It's a staple of Penn State's DNA.
Oh, what a pass to Watkins from Banks. Great dribbling by Banks to penetrate, and then he found Watkins with the dish. The lead is 4. It's a 7-0 run for Penn State.
High percentage shots, again, dunks. Got those in the game notes now. The dunk tracker for Penn State. You didn't have that in the past. An athletic group, more aggressive, getting to the rim.
And another Minnesota turnover as McBrayer stepped on the sideline.
We've seen this now a couple times. Take a look at Lynch. He's trying to help defensively. Penn State's penetrating it into the lane. Lynch, a shot blocker, always looking for an opportunity. That's leaving the backside open. Watkins has been able to benefit from offensive rebounds, and that time, the dish and the finish.
Moore stays in there for Penn State. Hands off to Stevens, and he travels. Continues to be a problem for Penn State. Well, again, this afternoon, a couple of good games for you. Number 9, Florida State. Number 11, North Carolina. That's 2 Eastern on ESPN. Tobacco Road. And then Auburn and number 6, Kentucky, 4 Eastern. Both of those games streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Lead is 4 for Minnesota, but they're shooting 1 of 7 this half. Lynch finally ends the drought for the Gophers and scores.
That's terrific footwork. Has back to the basket, drop stepped, got his shoulders pass. He's a big guy. When he gets his shoulders pass, you're not catching up.
Well, Coffey didn't touch it. And now Lamont Simpson, the official on the other side of the floor, is going to say, yeah, I think he did. Nope. John Gaffney's going to overrule him. The officials get together, and it benefits Minnesota.
I think he missed it. I don't think he ever touched it. Tried to see if the ball changed direction of the spin at all.
And Gaffney, who overruled Simpson, had the closer look.
And Simpson was coming across. I think he was asking him, did you see a deflection? And he said, I did not. So the call stood.
Well, Carr is going to go to the bench for Penn State. Samuel comes back in. It's been a tough day for Carr. We've talked about Stevens' troubles. Well, his high school teammate, no points today. He averages a dozen.
Both of those freshmen struggling. Carr not getting into a rhythm first half. Foul trouble. Stevens been getting some looks, just hasn't been able to finish.
Lynch had it stripped, taken away by Banks. Chance to cut into the 6-point Minnesota lead. Garner got it.
That's a better offensive possession. Didn't over-penetrate that time. We've seen Penn State get too deep. And then blocks and deflections. That time Gardner goes to the mid-range jumper. Pulls up over the defender.
Mason with 6 to shoot. And Penn State comes ahead down 4. Moore had it taken away by Mason as he tried to get it back out to Garner on the perimeter. And then Garner called for a foul. First on Shep.
Moore lost his footing that time, trying to post up. Just trying to kick it back out. Another turnover for Penn State.
It has not been a clean game in that department for either team. Minnesota with 14 of those, 15 turnovers for Penn State. Here's Akeem Springs, thought about the 3. Amir Coffey has been quiet since getting a couple of baskets early in this game. He's open on the wing, had it blocked as Stevens closed quickly.
This Penn State defense has turned it up here in the second half, much more active and aggressive.
Excellent opportunity for Penn State, but just one and done. Nice feed and a foul as Curry is fouled by Watkins.
This is defense for Penn State. This is a freshman closing hard, covering lots of ground. He came all the way from the lane to block that shot. Good awareness by Watkins to keep it in bounds. It's funny how that happens. Pick it up on your offensive end, start making some shots. Your defense starts to pick up as a team. That's been the case for Penn State here in the second half. Much better defensively.
Eric Curry at the line for Minnesota. Stevens heads to the bench for the Lions. Eric Curry, 78% foul shooter. Minnesota has done a pretty good job at the line. As I say that, he misses the back end. Lead is 5 for the Gophers, 38-33 with 12 minutes to play.
Keep attacking the rim here. Get ball moving. Good job.
Watkins, another slam dunk. He's got a double-double. 10 points, 10 boards.
That's a great find. Watkins set the screen, rolled right to the basket. Pass hit him in rhythm. Activity level much higher here on this end for Penn State now. Active hands, denying passes. Look at the pressure on the ball right now.
5 to shoot. McBrayer charges in. Tried to get it across the lane to Konate. Another Gopher turnover. Reeves racing ahead for Penn State. And a Minnesota foul. Well, the lead was 14. It is now down to 3.
Penn State's getting back into it. High percentage shots. Screen and roll. Terrific pass from Reeves. Finish from Watkins inside.
Brought to you by Samuel Adams, Pursue Better, and the new Volkswagen Golf All-Track, soon to be everywhere.
Two young, exciting teams in the Big Ten, Minnesota and Penn State. Alongside Sean Harrington, I'm Clay Matvick. This game is tightened up. Penn State, a different energy here in the second half. They're on an 11-3 run.
Yeah, they're aggressive right now, attacking the rim on the offensive end. Several dunks, which has lifted that energy. When you get dunked on one end, make some shots, you come down the other end, you usually play better defense. That's been the case for Penn State here in the second half. Extremely active on the defensive end. Deflection, steals, loose balls, diving on the floor. That's in the DNA of Penn State. Pat Chambers loves it at practice. Dive on the floor, loose balls. I've seen managers dive on the floor. And everybody runs over there, picks up a manager.
Well, Penn State is close to within 1.
And Minnesota needs a response now. Nate Mason's the guy. You want the ball in his hands to take a shot or make a play for someone else.
Mason, the leading scorer, under 10 to shoot, steps into the three-point arc, misses. And the rebound goes into Watkins' hands.
That was a shot that was falling in the first half, not falling here in the second half.
Well, Carr is cussing himself as he goes back down the floor.
Yeah, it's a shot he can take and make, but he hesitated. When you hesitate, then you don't want to shoot it. It takes you out of the rhythm. Should have shot the first one. Once you hesitate, get the ball moving, you'll get it back.
Still no points for Tony Carr at Penn State. Hakeem springs for 3. Draws the heel. Watkins has been a magnet underneath the rebound. And he gets it on the other end, rolls off his fingers. Got his own miss and one. Watkins to the line. First lead for Penn State.
I think Watkins is just trying to pad his stats here. He missed the first one on purpose to go get the offensive rebound. Put back and one. You got to like his aggressiveness, how quickly off the floor that second bounce. Really good move by Coach Pitino here. Bring Lynch back in, try to match that energy inside. Minnesota's been reliant on the perimeter here last couple possessions. See if they can get Lynch a touch. Try to start freeing up this offense a little bit.
Watkins is going to get a much-deserved breather.
His fourth double-double of the season, and we still have 10 minutes to go.
Minnesota led by double figures. The Lions share the first half. Now it is the Lions leading by 2. Lynch with the hook shot, rolls down, got the bounce.
I love that. Stop a run, you got to go inside. He just checked back into the game. Excellent substitution there for Minnesota. Too much perimeter for them those last few possessions. They pounded it in there. Lynch gets him the bucket.
He's in double figures with 10. They've worked on his ability to score, and it's paying off. Wow, Reeves attacks. That is a veteran move from the sophomore.
He's explosive getting into that lane, and he went left. You got to force him right. Pay attention to that scouting report.
Lynch. Tit for tat. We're tied again.
There's the newcomer, Lynch. Transfer. He's a junior, sat out of the year, so experience on their side. He's quieted the crowd a little bit on the offensive end there. Last couple possessions. Good job by Minnesota feeding him the ball.
Carr off the hands of Stevens, and the school teammates can't connect there. Failed the click, but you can see the chemistry is going to be good for years to come between those two.
Absolutely. Carr just trying to get into a rhythm here in this game. You feel like he can't quite settle in. That time he had the right idea. Get it to Stevens on the roll. Pass was just a little too hot behind Stevens, so he couldn't control it. Now Lynch has had the hot hand. See if they go into him again, and now work inside out to free somebody else up for an outside jumper.
Stripped. Murphy lost it to Stevens, and now here's Reeves. Garner the skip pass. Carr, he lost it. Murphy takes it back for the Gophers, ahead to Coffey. Look out. Oh boy. Both men go down hard, Reeves and Coffey. It looks like Amir Coffey took the worst of it. That's going to be an intentional foul on Josh Reeves, the third on the sophomore from Fairfax, Virginia. And Reeves, great sportsmanship, goes over and pats Coffey on the backside, saying, "I didn't mean to."
Yeah, it's always dangerous when you're coming up from behind. You can see he's not high enough to make a play up on the ball. Grabs the arm. This is scary anytime somebody hits the deck this hard. Looks like Coffey's okay. You hope he is to shake it off.
Amir Coffey has been one of the treats among the freshman class in the Big Ten this year. Reigning Big Ten Freshman of the Week. Officials at the monitor. 1 or 2.
It's definitely going to be a flagrant foul, intentional foul, and I don't think he's making a play high enough on the ball. You can see he grabs the arm. That ball's high up in the air. He's going to dunk it. You got to protect the player, the offensive player on that one. Just pulls him down.
Officials trying to look whether this is a flagrant 1 or flagrant 2. And we've got Terry Weimer and Ron Simpson over at the monitor. I'm sure that's John Gaffney and Lamont Simpson. 8:13 to go. It's an intentional foul. Coffey's going to stagger over to the line after getting clobbered from behind by Reeves. 2 shots coming for Amir Coffey. So flagrant 1, Coffey hits the first free throw. There's another one coming. This could be a turning point, Sean. Here at the midway point of the second half as Penn State has come back from being double digits down.
Yeah, definitely. And now you're going to get the ball out of bounds. You can take advantage of this opportunity. You can look at a 4 or a 5-point possession in a game that was going back and forth here. Momentum was back on Penn State's side. Could this possession get it back to Minnesota? Just as we say it, looks like they turn it right back over.
Jump ball, and the possession arrow will keep it with Minnesota. So another break going the Gophers' way.
Minnesota ball on the alternate possession.
That's good hustle, staying with it. Turn the basketball over, get right back in there, force the tie-up. Possession stays with Minnesota.
Coffey to trigger it in. Going to take their time on this possession. Murphy backing in. What a basket by Jordan Murphy.
It was good defense by Watkins. He knew Murphy wanted to get back over that right shoulder. He sat right on his right shoulder. Murphy just went through him.
Minnesota back to a 4-point lead. Here's Reeves. Missed it. Had a good look, but kind of an awkward shooting position at the time.
They'll keep feeding it inside. Murphy and Lynch. Keep those big guys going.
And the Gophers give it away. So we're going to step aside. This has tightened up here in the second half. Had the energy in the second half, Sean.
Yeah, they've been aggressive, attacking the rim. Julian Moore got us started with a couple easy buckets. And then Penn State just continues to attack inside. Watkins has been terrific. Another double-double for him. But the energy level's been lifted, and because of that, they picked it up on the defensive end as well. The shooting percentage goes up, easier looks, more high percentage shots, and attacking the rim hard.
That's been one of the things about Penn State here in 2016, 2017, the defense. At times, they play inspired defense. We saw that in the game against the Spartans. They held the future lottery pick Miles Bridges to 4 points. At times, they can be very good defensively. That's helped them get back into this game, Sean.
Yeah, much of the change for them this year is that youth, that energy. Every day, they bring it. They play hard. This is a Penn State team. They hang up the banner that says attitude at practice, and they bring attitude. They play hard. Now, it's a young group, so they got to keep playing smart and executing. When they can figure that out, this is going to be a very good Penn State team with this young group of players.
Coffey is called for the foul out high on Reeves. Amir Coffey has been quiet since the early stages of this game. That's his first foul. Team fourth.
Penn State's had a lot of success. The ball screen on the wing and diving the big to the basket.
Watkins and Lynch, this has been fun to watch. Watkins misses on that hook, and it's Akeem Springs that comes away with it. Watkins 13 points, 14 rebounds. Lynch 12 points, 4 boards in the battle of the bigs.
And Lynch was the spark just a few minutes ago coming off the bench when it looked like Penn State had the momentum back. Lynch with 2 quick buckets, back-to-back possessions.
Mason. And Minnesota will keep it alive, a fresh shot clock. Penn State staying in that man-to-man defense.
Not many second chance opportunities for Minnesota here in the second half. This is one here.
Murphy inside to Lynch, and that's a reach-in foul on Watkins. Third on Mike Watkins. Tonight at 11 Eastern, be sure to tune in. Sports Center at night. Kevin Connors, Nicole Briscoe of highlights, breakdowns from the Seahawks, Falcons, Texans, Patriots today. Preview tomorrow's divisional games and everything else from a busy Saturday. Sports Center at night on ESPN. Now Minnesota gives it away. Here's Reeves in transition, and Mason is going to be called for the personal foul with 6:02 to go. Third on Mason.
We've seen Minnesota have some problems inbounding the basketball under their own basket. Penn State active in deflection steals. Reeves gets to run out because of it that time.
He just flashed a statistic that neither coach is going to be pleased with. The combined 34 field goals with 36 turnovers. And the teams have been equally bad in giving it away.
Just momentum killers. You get momentum on your side, you turn the basketball over. Leads to easy points. Got to value possession, especially in the tight game.
Spins off for Reeves. He's got 9.
This Minnesota backcourt's been quiet here. somebody to step up, make a play.
Mason has no points here in the second half, and he's the leading scorer for Minnesota. He's got it now with 5 to shoot. Mason drives, that's blocked by Watkins, out of bounds. 2 seconds on the shot clock as Minnesota won't have a lot of time.
This is the difference maker. Watkins, good job moving his feet, and then he's the second guy off the floor to block that shot. This is where Minnesota struggled getting the ball in bounds. Only 2 seconds. Penn State puts that big on the ball. See if they can get another deflection here on the inbounds.
Murphy had it partially blocked by Reeves. And this is the kind of defense we saw from the Gophers in the first half.
And that's good awareness from Josh Reeves, knowing there's only 2 seconds on the shot clock. When Murphy catches it, he knows he's going to go into his shot. He timed it up perfectly.
The 19th Minnesota turnover. It's helped Penn State climb back in after being down 14. Banks had an open look. And now he's fouled. A 3 free throw opportunity for Peyton Banks coming up. Jordan Murphy commits his third, and this is a mistake.
Yeah, you can't do this. Never foul the jump shooter. I thought there's the shot for Banks. Instead, he puts it on the floor. And Jordan Murphy fouls him up top.
And that's the 6th team foul on Minnesota, so Penn State at the line the rest of the game. And even though Banks misses that free throw, this is a really good free throw shooting team. At least they have been this year at 76%. So advantage Penn State down the stretch. Minnesota not as good at the line at 69 as a club.
Tight ball game. These are big points. You don't want to leave any at the line.
Mason and Murphy come out. And Banks gets the back end.
Mason coming out. McBrayer goes to the 1 here. See if he can get Minnesota into a high percentage shot here. I like to keep feeding Lynch inside.
Lynch sets the pick. It springs off the roll, decides not to shoot. 10 to go on the shot clock for Minnesota. Now McBrayer moving in. Samuel trying to seal him off. It rolls off the lip. And Moore clears the rebound. Penn State can take the lead back.
And good defense by Samuel. He forced McBrayer to his right. McBrayer wants to go left, and that made it a difficult shot. Good defense. Good stand by the Nittany Lions.
Minnesota dominated this game in the first half, leading by double digits most of the first 20 minutes. Samuel looking inside. Here's Garner now. He's going to back it out, looking for space. Falling away. That's a big rebound for Eric Curry.
Great contest from Coffey on that.
But like a defensive back, Shep Garner with the interception. Reeves attacks with the left hand. Can't finish. It was halfway down and the rim spit it out.
That would have brought the house down. Talk about a momentum shift there. They're giving them the lead.
And now Penn State's gone 5 minutes without a field goal. Got to have that one.
Got to get an inside look here.
McBrayer able to hang on to it. Floats it up. Lynch and Curry underneath. It comes to Curry, and he muscles it up and in for Minnesota. Huge basket for the Gophers.
A big play by the freshman. Loose basketball, and he goes up, gets the contact. Minnesota needs to continue to attack inside. That's where they've had success here in this second half. For Penn State, continue to go into that ball screen situation.
Garner nearly lost it. Throws it up. This is a bad shot. He had plenty of room to maybe create a better shot, but he kind of forced it up.
And he never had it in his hand. It looked like it was falling out of his hand. So he forced it up there. Plenty of time on the shot clock.
McBrayer back to Springs. It's a tough shot. Well defended by Penn State. And a timeout. Patrick Chambers wants to talk about this as Penn State has missed its last 5 field goal attempts, including a dunk.
This one could be the momentum changer. Looked like it was going to bring the house down. Instead, no bucket. Minnesota still leads.
Assists in last night's big win over Arizona State. Look for the series sweep coming up next on ESPNU. Back to Penn State.
Minnesota and Penn State, couple of good hockey schools in the Big Ten. But today going at it on the hardwood where number 24 Minnesota has a 3-point lead with 2:21 to go, Sean Harrington. What's going to decide this game down the stretch in your opinion?
Taking care of the basketball. We have seen turnovers on both sides. Both teams, lots of turnovers. You got to value possessions here. Whoever's going to get good looks at the basket is going to pull this game out.
Well, Penn State hasn't. None of the starters for the Nittany Lions, and this is a bit of a surprise, have played well offensively today. None of the starters in double figures. Lynch and Carr bump into each other. This is Carr now. Banks for 3. Got it! And Penn State has tied it up at 48.
Huge answer out of the timeout. A young team. It's the junior, Peyton Banks. Let the defender fly by him and then buries it.
Only the second 3 for Penn State today. Banks has both of them, and they've both been big. Five to shoot. Mason. Jumper. Got it. And a timeout, Minnesota. Now, Nate Mason with his first field goal of the second half, but it gives Minnesota the lead back with 1:37 to go. Both teams have 1 timeout remaining.
And great confidence there from Nate Mason. Coming off, he likes going to his right off of the move. Pull up for that mid-range shot. You need a big shot. Go to your lead scorer, Nate Mason. Ball screen from Lynch, frees him up just for a second. Mason likes going to that right for the mid-range pull-up. Banks does a good job of blowing by the defender. Big 3-pointer out of the break to tie it up.
I think you're right about the turnovers. You know, who can limit those down the stretch here? We've seen 38 combined turnovers today. That's the most in a Big Ten game this season. Conference game.
Yeah. And it's leading to easy buckets, and that's been the biggest thing too, is when they turned it over, it's not only you're turning over and not getting a chance to score, it's led to the opponent getting an easy basket. In a tight ball game, you can't give up easy baskets.
There's Watkins again with the rebound and a foul. And it's going to go against Murphy. Boy, Watkins has been I'd say he's been their best player today.
Without question. He's been aggressive, and he's done a really good job on the backside. Again, it's Watkins right there. Lynch has to help. Murphy slides over, but Watkins just gets higher and quicker off the floor, and then there's the foul. Sending Watkins to the line. Chance to tie it up with 2 free throws.
That's the 4th on Murphy. Got them both.
Good answers on both ends of the floor. Back and forth now. I'd like to see Mason and Lynch in the ball screen action here.
Coffey somehow got it back, but now it's loose on the floor. It's a jump ball, and it's going to belong to Penn State with a minute to go.
It's a good job scrambling for a loose basketball. Getting your team an extra possession. Possession goes over to Penn State.
This is the Bryce Jordan Center. We haven't seen this a lot in recent years. This is a fun atmosphere today. Under a minute to play, tied at 50. Carr, no points today. Could it be him to give Penn State the lead? Passes to Banks, another three. Rebound Reeves. And they can hold for the final shot. Timeout, Pat Chambers. Well, the first half it was Minnesota. This second half it's been Penn State. They have come from 14 down. Penn State is out of timeouts now, but they can take the last shot.
And really important now, young team in this situation. You need to be aware of that. You do not want Minnesota to have an opportunity to come down in regulation and win it. So you have to make sure you take the last shot of this game. Be strong with the basketball and no timeouts. It's on the inbounds here. If any kind of pressure, you got to make sure you cut and get open.
And Penn State does have a foul to give. See if that comes into play. Tied at 50. Penn State trying to get back over 500 in the Big Ten. They're coming off their best win, maybe in the Pat Chambers era. That win at the Palestra over Michigan State, now trying to beat Minnesota at home. Their first game here at the Bryce Jordan Center in 2017. It's gotten raucous in here. And Minnesota not in possession of the ball, hoping to get it back after leading for a lot of this ball game by double digits.
You want to attack the rim late in this shot clock. They've been having success with wing ball screens, getting into the middle of the lane and then cleaning up on the offensive boards.
Shep Gardner taking his time. Keem Springs watching him. There's Tony Carr. Carr had it blocked by Curry. 6 to shoot. What do they look for here?
And again, you want to probably get the ball in over here on the wing where they're taking it out, and then a quick ball screen, and then someone going to your left.
They lob it into Carr, and he's fouled by Mason. Tony Carr will go to the foul line to give Penn State the lead.
And that's right here. This is the action right underneath the hoop. Mason doesn't see the ball, and he's holding on. Got tangled up with Carr.
Timeout on the floor with the score tied.
Minnesota uses its final timeout. Isn't this something? Tony Carr, who has had a very difficult day, he averages 12 points per game, or just under. Scoreless so far. 0 for 6 from the field. He has not been to the foul line yet, and he has a chance to put Penn State ahead.
And it's another freshman going to the line, stepping up in pressure situations. Have a chance to give your team the lead. Now both coaches out of timeout, so they're talking about different situations. Obviously, if he makes both, you still only need a 2 to tie. So you want to attack off the dribble, and Penn State has a foul to give, so they can foul in the backcourt to slow down Minnesota.
The officials making sure that they're right with the clock. There's 5.2 seconds on the board. Might put a few tenths back on, we'll see.
And the question will be, would they call it even before the ball was touched? And it would go back to the original time if there was no possession of the basketball before the foul.
This has turned into a great Big Ten game here today. You can see the team fouls. you mentioned it, Sean. Penn State with a foul to give. If you're the coach, is that something you might use to your advantage?
If you've been practicing that, then definitely something that you need to be aware of, and that's where at the end of practice you go for special situations. Do we foul? Don't we foul? If you've been practicing this as a team, definitely a situation to foul in the backcourt to slow down Minnesota, make them inbound it again, take a few seconds off that clock so they don't get a full head of steam coming at you.
So Tony Carr at the line. Trying to give Penn State the lead back. He's an 81% foul shooter. Probably part of the reason, too, that the ball was in his hands at the end, even though he hasn't had a good day offensively. It's going to stay at 5.2 seconds. And then if you're Minnesota, if you're Richard Pitino, who takes the final shot?
You want to get the ball in Mason's hands. He's your best ball handler. He can push it in transition. So you're going to be tied down 1 or down 2. So you only need a 2-point bucket. You want to get in Mason's hands, let him push. 5 seconds is a long time. You can get all the way down the floor with 3 or 4 dribbles and get to the basket in 5 seconds.
Tony Carr, who had 14 in the win against Michigan State, looking for his first point of the day.
For Penn State, too, on a make, you want to pick up, keep the offense in front of you, and then probably look to foul in the backcourt if you can take a couple seconds off this clock.
Leaders, too. Patrick Chambers takes Watkins out. This is Mason. Mason throws it up, springs, the rebound no good, and Penn State wins it. Coming all the way back from 14 down in the first half.
Penn State was almost trying to foul on the sideline, and then it's always the putback that gets you springs. That would have counted had he made it.
Well, some think that the Michigan State game last week was a program changer for that man, Patrick Chambers. This is certainly a big win at home as they go back to 3-2 in the Big Ten. Minnesota loses on the road. Penn State with the win. That wraps it up here in State College. Now it's hockey. Arizona State, Ohio State. So long, everybody.